Alright, I'm Kiederen and welcome to part 6, I believe it's 6, of Void's Blitzarre Adventure. We'll be tackling chapter 12 today, and hopefully it doesn't take me as long as chapter 11 did last week, but we'll see. The chapter title was I Felt Sadistic, so whoever was responsible for making this chapter, I'm fully prepared for some evil developments. Or at least as prepared as I can be. Yeah, take care of some preparations, inventory management and stuff before I actually go into this chapter. This is the first chapter I've actually had 12 full deployment slots, which is exciting, but I also am not 100% sure. I guess I do have two bench throwaway units at the moment, so they can fill out the bench. Leroy is now completely replaced. I want to say antiquated, but there are several characters now do his job as good or better. Kirsten covers my movement needs for the most part. I may be able to promote her early if absolutely necessary. I want to hold off on that if still, because she is only level 11 with decent stats, but serviceable stats, I should say. So if I need that movement, she's probably going to get promoted before I choose to field Leroy. And Jerome, as I've been mentioned way back when, kind of a throwaway unit. Stats are, he's not even a good meat shield at this point. If I were playing on a lower difficulty where I had the luxury to feed him more experience, he might have been interesting. But on hard mode, it just doesn't seem worth sapping the experience from units that would be useful more immediately. And especially since the early game was kind of tricky. Other than that, since I have so many slots, I'm pretty free to field pretty much everyone here. So I can just equip them, give them stuff to use. Normally I like keeping a Slim Lance on my Peg Knights because of the GBA attack speed system, and given their slow con, the Slim Lance is usually the only weapon that they can equip before promoting that can maximize their avoid, which they often really rely on because they tend to be fragile. And Kirsten's actually got decent bulk, so that might not be too much of an issue because I also do like keeping vulneraries on everyone. She is my only Lance user aside from Void at the moment. And Void being luckless Void, I kind of try to limit how much combat she sees unless I can make it 100% safe for her. Arv has a random Iron Axe in our inventory, probably trading around with Tam last chapter. Need to give Anti-Arch more ammunition and nuke stuff with. Fortunately, for whatever reason, there were a bunch of mages last chapter that all spawned with droppable fire tomes, so I got a bunch of those. That helps keep Anti-Arch usable for a while, because I rely on him so much for tanking these days. I tend to go through his more advanced tomes pretty quickly. Not much has changed with Tam. He's still got actually really solid stats. He'll still be useful. I need to give Tim another axe though. His killer axe is down to less than 10 uses. It's at this point not something I would equip him with on enemy phase unless I know he's only going to have to swing it a few times. And at this point, it might be a good idea to hold on to it for bosses. Speaking of bosses, Anna is still probably going to be my best boss killer. Yeah, this is not a sustainable inventory for the long run. I need to give her something durable for everyday use. That'll 7 Constitution. I might actually be able to get away with a Steel Sword. It'll help offset her lowish attack. 15's actually pretty good for a Swordmaster, recently promoted. She loses 3 speed off of her massive 21. And I can... I'll look around at the map real quick to see if that might be an issue or not, and I can still inventory swap on the fly later. Give Edge something to play with. Betty gets to see the field again in his glorious Rally Spectrum. I probably shouldn't give him too much more than that, since if he dies, I don't really see enough reason to go back for him. Rally Spectrum's great, but I've benched him for the last few chapters and haven't really missed it as much. That much, I should say. Unfortunately, since I lost Jay last chapter, Samson has become my only archer. I wasn't planning on using him. I was planning on sticking with Jay because I like speedy characters. And I feel like quick characters with low strength are a bit easier to offset their weaknesses than a slow character with high strength. But if he's all I've got, then he's certainly usable. Let's see, 35 speed growth isn't awful, but it's not great either. It's higher than Kirsten's, sadly. I give her a Iron Lance as well to swing around. I did pick up a spare Blitz Lance last chapter from the boss, so that's nice. I don't have to be quite as conservative with that now. Especially since it will help her secure a lot of safer kills thanks to its effective properties and really good hit. And a little bit of critical is also nice. I did pick up a Tomahawk last chapter, but I don't think Tam could technically use it. Tim can soon. I guess I can give it to Tam for emergencies. Because not particularly optimistic about what this chapter is going to throw at me, especially after saying last chapter seemed kind of tame and then it had almost 20 turns of reinforcements. But, alright, let's take a look at the map. First off, a Kellum-like knight right out the gate, toggable with Void, with fantastic, if very armor knight-ish stats. 20 base luck is huge, and is actually high enough that, at least in the avoid department, it's already starting to offset his abysmal speed. If generals get Wary Fighter in this game, which I haven't seen it on any bosses, but given the trend, I think that's fairly likely. His speed, Wary Fighter, in the outside of heroes, Wary Fighter is fantastic because it just is flat, no condition. Neither character can double attack, which basically means general's low speed is completely irrelevant. So once he promotes, which his base stats are just awesome enough that I might promote him right on the spot. We'll see. I'm definitely considering it. Gets him to Wary Fighter sooner, if that's a thing. But he'll actually be a very good asset and gives me another Lance user too. Anyway, again, as a quick recap from last chapter, promoted Anna, recruited Arv Shaman, who is a Lance Breaker, weirdly enough, but I'll take it. A decent stat spread, a little on the low side, but this isn't, it's based off Sacred Stones, but it isn't Sacred Stones, so not expecting the huge stat inflation that it kind of happened since then. She does have a light weapon rank, which might have been seen as maybe an error in the coding, if not for the fact that she also came with a lightning tome, which kind of implies that it was intentional. And as I've mentioned last week, it has the interesting implication that if I promoted her to a druid and she kept that weapon rank, she would be able to use lights, anima, dark, and staves. Though it's not unprecedented that a promotion would actually take away a weapon rank. If you had Ewan in Sacred Stones promote from Pupil to Shaman, he actually lost his anima rank and gained just the D in Dark Magic, which he would gain back that anima rank, so it was remembered if you promoted him to Druid. But at least for the time he was a Shaman, he would lose that anima rank. So until I throw a Master Seal at her, I'm not entirely sure, but I think she can stand to grow a little bit more before I do that. Let's see. I did lose Jay last chapter, and I decided not to go back for him. I'll just use Samson because I have Samson. And yeah. So let's quick look around the map. We've got a random archer here with chest key, which I assume was kind of throwing the player a bit of a bone in case you lost or failed to recruit Bob, so you could at least get one of these chests. It is interesting that these two have silver weapons already. The enemy weapon distribution is pretty stacked so far. Like, everyone has really high rank weapons, and that's really scary, actually. Lance Reavers, Spears. Spears are scary because they have built-in crit, even if just a little bit, and I've got a Lord character with virtually no luck. Yeah, it looks like everyone's got silver or equivalent. Like, steel blades are almost as powerful as silver swords. Yeah, they're pretty comparable. And lots of Reaver weapons floating around too. There are two bosses, interestingly. Geb and Baron. Geb is a hero with troublesome inventory as well, which is par for the course for this chapter so far. Sword Slayers are Sword Reavers, except that they gain effective damage against Myrmidons and Mercenaries, which triples their might. So if I throw Anna against him when he's got this equipped, he'll be hitting for 33 damage plus 17. Which is definitely instant kill. I'm not even going to run the numbers for that. Baron doesn't look as intimidating. Lower stats overall. He's a little more well-balanced, maybe. They're pretty comparable. And his inventory selection is nowhere near as threatening. Neither of these do anything terribly exciting. Shine has a little bit of critical, but I have a hard time picturing him actually switching off Fimbulvetter unless his AI is specifically programmed to alternate or change, which I have seen. It's a little weird, but because based on the way AI normally acts, it picks the weapon that does the most proportional damage, which generally means the most damage, and in this case, Fimbulvetter is beating out Shine every time. Maybe it's just there so that he has something in case you somehow break his Fimbulvetter. Anyway, both of these characters also move, which is equally intimidating. Got a bunch of promoted enemies as guards too. Let's see here. One thing I do like about this map design is that it has two paths to the boss, with distinct advantages to both of them. And that's in general good map design. It's good to give the player options. So I can go north and then wind in, or I can go east first and then north. And it looks like the longer path might be a little bit easier. See, these guys don't move at least. Maybe. The north path is definitely shorter, but the fact that there are chests on both paths may actually be encouraging me to split up even if I want all the loot, which we'll see. Because of the weaponry alone might force me to promote some more of my units this chapter, just so that I have enough firepower to get through them without losing too many people. I'm not sure I'm not sure I can really afford to lose too much else. Like, I probably wouldn't reset for Tam. I probably wouldn't reset for Edge. I have Tim and Anna both filling the same job. There's 1, 2, 3 chests on that path. 1, 2. There's 4 chests on the right path. So I think I'm gonna send Bob, my thief, to the right. I'm gonna try to split up and see if I can manage that. But it does look like this is gonna be a bit of a long chapter, so I probably will not get to more than this one tonight. Mostly lances and swords with a few axes. And a few more axes up north. So Anna will go north, put the north team over there. Tim and Tam. I'll send Tam north. And let Tim take care of all the axe duties on the east path. think Void, I'll send Void north, with Ty as well. Between Anna and Ty and Tam, I think we can tank out the north, which means send. Got 12 slots, so 6 and 6 plus 1 for the new character. Anti-Arch can go north. I'll need his tanking and speed debuffing powers up there. Send Kirsten east, because she'll be my only lance in that direction then. I think, well, no, there are cavalry. Okay. So make sure everyone is on, and okay. Let's give this a go. Alright, so it's safe over here. Well, I suppose Prin kind of got my, gave me some expectations for recruitment dialogue, and Samson as well, but this is not this isn't not par for the course. Too many negatives. Wasn't the first time, it won't be the last time that this game does that. That's safe. I'll let you tank them. So you actually have really decent resistance too. 19 damage, 12. You're only gonna take 7 twice. 23, 16. Okay, yeah, should be fine there. Another 7. Maybe. He certainly has the stats for it, but he also is only level 10. So, I don't know. He kind of has the growths of a pre-promote. Wow, 100% growth in luck. Wow. Next character I'm planning on promoting. Anti-Arch is a good candidate. He's 16 already, and unfortunately hasn't grown as much as I was hoping for. He's gained practically no magic despite having 40% growth in it, and his speed growth's been slower than expected as well. But his base stats are still, or his stat spread as it is still useful enough that I'm still fielding him, and his skills are useful enough that he's still pulling his weight. Did I accidentally... No, still fast game speed. The one advantage of giving these guys one ranged weapon and one advantage for me, I should say, of these Cavaliers having a ranged weapon and a melee weapon is I can dictate which one they equip. Mage Knight is in this game. Anti-Arch can become a Sage or a Mage Knight. I'm not sure we've seen one yet, but so far the game does have the same promotion options that Sacred Stones did. So Mage would go to Mage Knight or Sage. I can even put a little bait over here too. That mountain will keep him safe. There we are. Okay. Oh yeah, you have rally speed now. Yeah, loot in Sacred Stones, especially if you're gonna do any grinding, is generally better as a sage, unless you're doing like a speed run, in which case movement is one of the only stats that really matters. But if you're playing if you're not playing the low turn count game, which a lot of people do, Sage is gonna get you a little more mileage. Let's see here. Sage has access to light magic, which is advantageous against all monster enemies, because all monster, I should say, has weapon triangle advantage against all monster mages, because monster mages only use dark magic. Larachel was able to turn into a Mage Knight, but for the same reason, she's generally better as a Valkyrie. Keep that weapon triangle advantage against monster casters. Let's see. So Anna could bait that archer, but I don't want. I want to be able to counterattack and deal damage to him on the enemy phase, so I'm actually not going to put her in range. But I could, however, put her in range of this fighter and let her take care of him on the enemy phase. See, Tam's going north to be my axe on this team. And Prin will go east. She's got better movements. And Void will appreciate Betty's Rally Spectrum. Oh, I need to turn Ty's animation on as well. But yeah, and I want to say the Gorgon enemies by themselves were a big enough reason to make kind of avoid the anima locked mage classes, namely just Mage Knight, because the Gorgon Stone spell was so good at debilitating your team, any party member that was hit by it. Was almost a death sentence if any other enemy was in range. Let me see here, Ty. What Stone did was it automatically set their avoid to 0. Well, I'm not sure if it set it to 0 or if it just automatically gave the attacker 100% hit. One of those two. Either way, it was bad, and it also gave them a critical boost. I think I will promote Ty though. I'm just gonna need his tanking ability going forward here, and a boost to 16 defense could make a big difference, especially with these well-armed enemies. Yeah, the lava chapter in Sacred Stones at least gave you the opportunity, I'm getting some weird slowdowns here with the game. It gave you the opportunity to at least try to beat out some of the Gorgons before they spawn by killing the eggs. And they gave really good experience for doing so. Right. Okay. You don't move, so you won't come to me, so I have to go to you. Want to keep giving Arv some experience too. She actually has decent luck. Got a Horse Slayer. Can I one-hit you? Nope. Double, yep. 32 hit, 30. Okay, so there's not much of a difference defensively between Void and Lightning. Oh yeah, Lancebreaker. Lancebreaker is doing me favors here. I was wondering why I had 100% hit with both. And then he goes and hits me anyway. It's okay though. It's fine. I know. Silver Sword and Lance Reaver. Oh, he doesn't move. Okay. So we just have to deal with this Silver Bow next turn once I attack. You... Can I steal? No. Does not have the patch to make it Telia style stealing. In Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, thieves were able to steal weapons and staves as well as just items, so long as the weapon or staff was not equipped and had a weight that was lower than the thief's strength. And there have been patches for hacks that actually give the GBA games the same stealing system, which is always kind of fun, but at the same time it also has the potential to break certain situations, because if you just have a tricky enemy but your thief is fast enough, you can trivialize them just by taking their weapon. So you get an awesome weapon and your enemy can't fight back. Let's see, this might not actually... Okay, it hit. Yeah, Not Arch's experience is kind of slowing down a bit too. Oh, okay, so I got 2 chest keys. Someone else, I think the mage up here, dropped one too. So that's what... it is actually enough to open the chests on this side. So it was early enough that if I needed to switch the routes that Bob was on, I could do so without losing too much headway. But this way I can just use the chest keys and not have to swing Bob around both sides and be able to get both treasure chests still. So, got Knight's Crests. I have a few Master Seals as well still. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, this also begs the question, should I have the choice to make him, I think I'm going to make him a Great Knight. Because I actually don't have any cavalry aside from Leroy. Which means... I can give him, this is a D, right? I can give him swords and axes. Actually, yeah, Sacred Stone's generals can also use swords and axes as well, not just axes and lances. But Great Knight, I think, is going to be more useful. Well, no, actually, if they do, generals do get Wary Fighter, like I was mentioning earlier. You gotta remember, yeah, which I think they will. Then general would be the better choice because the promotion for, let me see here. I'm not sure how reliable this flavor text is. It says Great Shield, but this is also the same flavor text as in Sacred Stones. So Great Knight's promotion bonus has better speed, so while that would kind of be a band-aid on his speed problem, if generals get Wary Fighter, then that would completely patch it. Alright, I'll take a chance. See if generals get Wary Fighter at 5. Neither one of them is really bad, especially with his base stats. But man, I've taken characters to level 20 and then promoted them, and they've had worse stats than that. Yeesh. 15 res too. He could probably not gain any more points of res for the rest of the game, and he'd still have good res. I could have put Tam in range there. Can still do this. We're still within 7 turns, so Lucky Sevens is still giving her a massive avoid boost. Okay, good. Yeah, Tim's got a rank in axes now. So normally Lightbrand, as a sword, it would have a weapon triangle disadvantage against spears, lances, but since its attack counts as a magic attack at range, it actually has no weapon triangle interaction outside of within the physical weapons. It counts as light magic, so it would be advantage against dark magic and weak to anima, which we saw on the hero boss a few chapters back, Selena. Yeah, since these guys don't move. Do you move? You don't even move either. So this axe fighter is the only one that's gonna come at me as I go through these halls, this hall. 29 attack. So you'd have 21 damage against him. Though 12 speed, 9 speed, 12 weight to 11 con, so he's only attacking with 8 attack speed. So I can double him, even with Tam. I guess. Sure, get a little bit of extra distance. Bonds is still in effect. You have any extra skills? Oh, rally movement. I think that's unique to you. Provoke and Natural Cover are both class skills. I've seen other knights with those. Rally Movement's kind of interesting. But anyway. Keep going up the side here. One thing I do like about Samson's low speed is he's a good candidate for weakening enemies in order for allies, other weaker allies, to finish off and get better experience, as just like this. In that sense, I suppose Samson is actually filling the Jagan role for me far better than Leroy was. Samson also has some defensive stats. They could be better, but they also could be much worse. Let's see. You have a Lance Reaver, right? Can I kill you in one turn? I can't. How about this? And I just go neutral. Don't like that crit rate. If he criticals me, even if I'm at max health, he'll kill me. Since he doesn't move, I can throw stuff at him. Take that. Why are we on... Oh, okay, this is sand. Interesting. I just noticed the water, sea background to that combat. Prin's actually another candidate for a promotion soon. She's level 15 already, and been kind of growing kind of slowly, and promoting her would give me another magic combat unit. Don't have any double bow or anything here, right? Double bow is a semi-legendary weapon from Tellius games that was a bow with 4 range. It was awesome until I experienced archers in Shadows of Valentia. With their 1 to 5 range, or sometimes 2 to 6. As before, I can continue tossing stuff. Kirsten, I didn't bring Kirsten last chapter because it was an indoor map and she didn't really, her flying benefit didn't really have, or she didn't really get any benefit from her flying. This chapter is kind of, it's like more than half indoors as well. However, I had the spare in deployment slots and I didn't want her to fall behind, so she's gotta try to feed her some experience this chapter. Keep her up to pace. Meanwhile, Edge is just kind of along for the ride here. You probably have, yeah, javelins. Since I don't have a throwing axe on him, I'm going to keep him out of range. Don't need to take more attacks than I need to. And not much gonna happen on this side this turn. I can take out, let's see. Just seeing these guys move when I attack the front row here. Then, so yeah. So I'm going to take out this fighter here with Anna, and then since those other two don't move and the mercenaries in the middle, the cavalier can't throw his spear at me, but the other fighter up top is going to come down the next turn and attack, but that's okay since it's Anna prior to turn 7. So she's virtually untouchable, especially to enemy axes. Arch can get this kill. If they had really wanted to be mean in the development of this chapter, the middle one would have been the Cavalier, because the Cavalier would then be able to throw a spear at either the two, anyone who engaged either the other two in melee range. But since the mercenaries there, I can pick off the two allies on his two allies on the other sides, and he can't do anything about it. Alright, I should check. Again, it might still be flavor text, but let's see here. So the general description still says Great Shield. He hasn't actually gained any skill called Great Shield. So I don't know if that will actually happen. This is the lovely Rally Spectrum at work. I don't wanna spend the axe, the tomahawk if I don't have to. Yeah. If I can't kill him with a Sword Reaver, I'm better off not attacking. Yeah. Because he'll just switch to his Lance Reaver, and then we go from reversing the weapon triangle to reversing it again, and he's got advantage on me. And the weapon triangle bonuses are multiplied by 2. Oh, good point, I should check that. I didn't look at the description under Ty's portrait. There's usually something. Whether or not I understand it or not, it's another question entirely. Arch enemy of Tim and Tam, or so he keeps claiming. And yet they can't talk. It would have been neat if they just made Tim or Tam able to recruit him, and he goes all like rival Tsundere and like, can't let these guys beat me, so I'm gonna join you and outdo them, or some such. But alas, he has no dialogue. I need to give him a ranged weapon back. I think he had a... He can have the short spear. He actually cannot. He actually has an Ian swords, huh? Okay. Not too big of a deal. Get some extra distance so I can harass this knight who doesn't have a heavy spear? Are they still called heavy spears in Sacred Stones? Did heavy spears happen in Sacred Stones? They're kind of weird with which games had what. They renamed the Horse Slayer, not the Horse Slayer, the Longsword from 7 to 8. So it became the Zanbato. Let's see, if I go with the short spear here, I can counterattack the archer next turn. And kill the knight on counterattack. I don't have any siege tomes, right? could force him to equip his rune sword early. Well, I'm not terribly likely to outrange him with my current party anyway. Not with anyone significant, at least. This is gonna take a bit. Not 30 to 20. Since he can do half my health in one hit, rather than attack him here, I'm actually just going to park myself and let him come to me. That way, instead of I attack, and then he attacks, and then I attack, and that makes next turn his attack first, which could kill me if both of them hit. Unlikely, but just in case. This way, he attacks, and then I attack, and then next turn I attack again. So I get 3 swipes at him before he gets 2 at me. More power, but not really necessary. Okay. Let's see. You'll come in next turn as well. Wasn't really banking on that, but that shouldn't be a problem. Just need to make sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Just seeing whether or not I wanted to maybe give that kill to someone else, but no one else is going to be able to do it in a timely manner. Anti-Arch was going to take a while to kill him on his own. Since he didn't move, I probably could have taken my time. Just ignored him if I needed to reroute those resources. But I'll give Tam a Rally Spectrum. I could have probably attacked in that case if I had remembered that he was in range, because that would have meant that the Knight's attack was not doing enough to kill him in 2 hits because of the defense boost. So let's see what happens. Berserk. Interesting. Let's see here. I might be able to use this right now. What's the defeat boss? Okay. Who can I berserk? You might be a good candidate. Because you will then go and mess up this archer, and then you'll cause some chaos around here. Because the archer can't fight back. That would be to my advantage. Still can't reach those knights this turn. At least, well, I can with Tim. So we'll give Tim all the rallies. Silver Axe. You can only attack. Yeah. $12, 24 leaves me with 10. 6, 11 is 17 attack. Minus 1, 16 is less than 10. So just making sure I can take another counter attack from this lance in the event that both of them hit me, the silver lance, and then also be able to take a attack from the javelin should it hit me. It'd be a lot of bad luck, but the worst has happened. He's not in any immediate peril, so I can leave him to be healed by... Okay, healed by Prin next turn, or whenever convenient. That was an interesting choice. We went from a silver lance that could hurt me to a horse slayer that can't hurt me. Not complaining, not that he missed anyway, but sure. And what level are we now? 3? Yeah, 3. Okay. Defense is welcome. Speed's always welcome. I'm surprised that archer didn't double. I didn't really check his stats that closely though. I think Ty is still under 10 speed, but 7, 8. Okay, yeah, they're... Hello, thief. Surprise thief. Fortunately, I have made enough progress that he is basically a non-factor. Aether. No kill like overkill. And got a level up out of it, but it was bad. Void herself is kind of at the point where I am considering promoting her. I've had the Lunar Brace since very first chapter, and I've mostly been holding out for stats. In particular because the Lord tends to be the most viable candidate for killing final bosses with special effective weapons. They usually get preferred unique weapons. So making sure that they have high enough stats at least to withstand an attack from the boss and counterattack with decent damage is usually a good choice. Since I'm focusing on feeding Arch, let's use him to kill the Knight. Though I probably should have sent him to take out the Cavalier instead. Yeah, good. That was a great level up. Need more of that. You've got the chest key, so that's good. I'll actually take that from you. Because Tam's not really high on my experience giving priority. Since I've got Tim doing his job just as well or better. So Tam can run the errands while everyone else puts in work. Combat work, I should say. Running errands is pretty important still. Someone's got to do it. I mean, if it is kind of weird in that sense, the constitution stat compared against the weight stat of weapons does almost imply that the two are relatable, and yet, in which case a lot of these weapons are as big as the people wielding them. So let's go a little berserk here. Do your worst. Let's see. You actually double, because knights are slow. You don't double, because you're also slow. There we go. Doubles, but not enough to kill. think I may get her light weapon rank to, but her dark is already a B. I was like, maybe I should get her light weapon level up to D, which gives her access to shine, and then just focus on the dark magic, because I don't want to put too much experience into light magic and then leave her unable to wield a legendary dark tome in a few chapters, or, well, probably not in a few chapters, but later on. Even with Sacred Stone's weapon experience gain being nice and high, it's I don't have the ability to grind in this hack, so I can't kind of patch it up if I've fallen behind. It's a lot harder to patch up, I should say. So as I was saying, I wanted to give Kirsten some experience. Do I still have? I did take the Axe Raver off her. Darn. So I could have gone in, killed him, and switched to the Axe Reaver and let her tank the fighter up there as well. Ah, one stat she didn't need. 40. Okay. It's 28, 8, 20, 21. She would survive. Yeah. Speed, -1 for the axe weight, 13 speed, -2, 11. Give her the, do I have any other, yeah, no. Can give her the, give her her Killer Lance and hope she crits on retaliation. She's still gonna take like 90% of her health, but I think she should survive. One, two, three, four, five, 6. So this way Prin can heal him next turn. Yeah. Actually did less damage than I was expecting. Aw. Oh, there's the other one. Do you have... You don't drop yours, but I could steal them. Do I need to? We'll see what he does. Okay, I don't really need the money, but it's not a bad thing to have more. I keep Ty moving, because he doesn't have much movement. So if the thief goes this way, and he catches up with me, then I'll steal his lockpicks and then kill him. If he goes the other way, then I'll just end him. Yeah, Void can take care of that chest as well. You don't move, but you do, and you'll come to me next turn because I accidentally put you in range. You don't move. 25. Yeah. Can't kill in the highly unlikely event that he hits. Though it is turn 7, so I think she still has this turn's worth on lucky 7s, but after that turn her avoid goes down. What's up here? Rune Sword. I kind of want to make you equip the Rune Sword. Maybe. Maybe not. But maybe I do. Yeah, I can do that. Leave her with the lightning. She'll have she should have weapon triangle advantage. Rune Sword doesn't always act. This doesn't act the same way that the light brand does. Unlike the light brands, light brand uses your full attack in melee range and half of your attack, I think, in 2 range. It's got some kind of reduction. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Meanwhile, the Rune Sword always attacks with the same formula, whether it's at range or at melee distance. There we go. He should kill at least like one other of the enemies before his berserk wears off. And it looks like the thief is going the other way, so since I got another pair of lockpicks recently, I'm not too anal about picking up his. So how do I want to kill you? You've got a lot of HP. Yeah, as I thought. Decent chance she'll crit, but 13 is not enough to double. But 15 should be. Since you don't move, I gotta be a little wary of the boss here since I am getting into his range soon. Let's see. How much is... So that looks very good, but it's because Duelist Blow is active 30. So on enemy phase, that would actually be a 47% chance of hitting me instead of 17. Which I can take that hit. That's not too big of a deal. But this lets me attack in melee range with anti-arch this turn, should Anna fail to kill him. Yeah, like that. So I can finish off this warrior with anti-arch without having to take a counterattack like this would. Not that it would set me back terribly, but this way I ping some damage on the knight at the same time. Knight doesn't have anything crazy, right? Yeah, just Silver and Horse Slayer. Maybe he'll switch to his Horse Slayer weirdly as well. It's just a movement rally and everyone's already moved. Let's not forget about Tam down there though. Edge has basically been relegated to a rally bot. There's like no one else up here. Cool. Yeah, Kirsten needs the experience a bit more. Edge has rally attack, which is probably of anything, maybe with the exception of rally movement, is probably the best rally. Rally speed coming in next. Yeah, strength. Oh, he's coming back. Grits. There we go. I almost feel like he was set up specifically for that. One of these warriors. I was tempted to grab this one too. I might still do that just to throw some damage on the bosses. If I can, the druid actually might be the better target even for berserk, because he targets magic or targets resistance, and they have much lower resistance, and they've got comparable hit rates. Guiding ring. That's timely. Again, not like I'm not sitting on 3 master seals as well, but if I don't have to use one, that means I can spend it on someone else. This is another. Looks like another fighter that I can feed to Kirsten. Oh, you know what I forgot to factor in last time? Arv's spur defense. Let's see here. Make sure there's no more extra longbows. Not that she benefits from the rally, but could harass this archer. I don't want to spend the longbow if I don't really need it, since I only have the one, and it's really useful for outranging stuff. But yeah, with the boss right here, and I'm not in this side not being finished, at least grabbing these 3 chests, I'm gonna kind of sit out here and kind of stall while the other side finishes up. Another crit. Awesome. Chest key. Don't need that on this team because of Bob, but oh wow, he's kind of hiking it over there. That's okay. One more turn. Or actually, I think that means he heals this turn. Or recovers. So I should be prepared to deal with him. Well, I can wait until next turn and see. Is that reinforcements? I just see this mercenary on a stairs tile and didn't check if he was there originally or not, but reinforcements usually appear from stair tiles. Berserker unberserks, but in the wake of the damage he wrought, he knows only how to express himself with anger. Berserks again. Alright, I can harass this archer now. Those are almost identical specs. I can change that though. That's marginally better. Let's see, make sure nothing else can attack her. No, no. Berserker's also out of range. So yeah, that should be safe. Just gotta bring Prin up and afterwards to heal. Or she can just crit. That is okay too. You don't move. Just kind of skirt around the warrior's range there. Can use Prin to heal Kirsten instead. Right. Nothing else exciting happening over here for the time being. Get everyone cozying up with Betty so they can all receive his rally spectrum when I'm ready to charge. Actually, probably won't do that with Anti-Arch because he actually loses movement range from there as far as getting to where I need him to go. Oh, actually, yeah. Since he has no... That's a little weird, having a mercenary all the way up here, but making him not move. It's like, what's the point? I'm probably actually going to leave him alone. He might be blocking reinforcements. Oh, could have rallied Tim before I sent him out. Oh well. No one else needs healing. Nothing going on over here. All right. do have to do something about him. He does seem to be advancing on me with something in mind, considering I am blocking his path to the chests here, so that is probably not his motivation. So 11, 13. Prin's not carrying anything stealable. And Edge is too fast. Ouch. How fast is he? 11? Let's see. I am 7, 6. Yeah, that is 4. Okay. Oh yeah. Fun coincidence. Iron Axe and Steel Sword have identical combat stats. They are both 8 might, 75 hit, and 10 weight. Cool. So he's a B now. He's got great weapon levels, thanks to Sacred Stone's generous weapon levels on promotion. Yeah, I trust 99. Especially since we're in a true hit game where 99 is actually 99.999 something. Yay. I'm not entirely sure that Shine is a better option for her, but I have that to pick from now at least. Let's see here. Actually, this Cavalier is probably gonna toss stuff at me. So let's rescue and not rally. 9 speed, 9 speed. Okay. Want to be able to pick up this knight a little bit more, but can't really do that with this guy here. If I use Kirsten to go in, she'll take a pretty big hit. Gotta remember that. I keep forgetting that my Troubadour has 10 defense. So maybe she can actually take a hit here. So 12, 25 damage, 15 damage. She's actually really bulky. I don't know why, but she is. 6, 8, 2% crit. Okay, I apparently don't need to even send in Prin to heal. She's got Voice of Peace too. Does she have a... I did give her a Javelin, but it might be better to leave her with a Killer Lance for better avoid. Not that her avoid's great with it, but... Yeah, Kirsten at least has enough luck to mitigate all of the crit from this Cavalier next turn. So who else do I have to move? Just Void. I do wish that it gave me the stats after promotion for both options, because I don't know their promotion bonuses off the top of my head. Would like something to patch up his magic. Yeah, I could save state. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I'll do that. The other advantage of promoting him now is it gives me another staff user. I'm thinking about Mage Knight. I like their movement, and I think they've got slightly better defense, so that kind of will help him perform his tanking stuff better. So 15 defense is pretty nice. Like again, that could not grow for the rest of the game and still be good. 13 speed, but he's supposed to grow quite a bit of speed. The other thing I'm not sure of off the top of my head are skills. I'm not sure what skills either of them gets. I think Sage might get Rally Magic, except there's no magic strength split in this game. So I don't know. So alright, let's see. That is not the right save. There we go. Mini heart attack there. I knew I wrote one. So, actually got better defense. At the same time though, he got less magic. Slightly more, well, he didn't gain any speed or skill either. And Lost doesn't get Kanto. So I think I'm actually gonna go with Mage Knight on this one. Like the movement is worth a lot of consideration, as well as Kanto being able to move again after taking certain actions, and helps his constitution a little bit too. So Elf Fire slows him down less. It actually should only slow him down by 1 point now. He doesn't get light magic, but considering I haven't run into any monster enemies, light magic isn't quite as important as it is in Sacred Stones. Does make me wonder what to make Prin into as well, because Troubadours can turn into Valkyries or Mage Knights, and I was considering making her a Mage Knight as well. But maybe I'll hold off a little bit and see what skills Anti-Arch gets as a Mage Knight. And depending on what I get, I think Mage Knight might get the same skills that Dark Knights got in Awakening. So that'd be Quick Burn and Life Taker. Slow Burn? I don't remember which one it was. One of them starts out big and then scales down in its bonus, and the other one starts out small and then scales up in its bonus. But I think they both expire by like 7 turns. Right, just you. It wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't that impactful of a skill. The Life Taker might be interesting though. That's an interesting reinforcement. Why did you appear there? You are stacked, inventory-wise at least. Pretty good stats. Not for your level, but as an enemy, that's formidable enough. Holy. Silverblade, Spear, Horse Slayer, and Heavy Spear. You pretty much designed to mess up someone's day. And since he's there, he can go either way. Fortunately, I just promoted Anti-Arch, so he will be even better at messing up people. But we'll see. Since he's over here, he'll probably go up this way. I don't have a dancer, so probably gonna need 2 people. Anti-Arch is not fast enough to, well, 13 weights. Anti-Arch is fast enough. 13, 9, 4. Even if he equips even if I have to make him use Hellfire, he should be fast enough to double. 35 with 2 res, so 37, 21. Yeah. So Anti-Arch should be able to one-round him. Anyway, steel and lockpicks. These are mine now. These are all decent options. You're the only one in the rest of the room that moves. Can do this and then finish off with Arv. Start using that Void Tome, or not Void, Flux. I wonder why I said Void. That's my lord. And this is safe. I might give Edge the kill on the Thief. Just because no one's really going to get much experience out of that anyway. And he is the least important one to be catching up. can actually bait that Merc this turn. And nothing else going on here. Now he moves to physique. Okay. That's a rally. Yep, 21. Adept. I always wished I could use more Mage Knights and Sacred Stones. I like their animation is a little more interesting than Valkyries, and Valkyries were kind of old news since Blazing Sword. None of you guys move. I can. Well, I was gonna try to berserk the druid actually, wasn't I? $15 and $13. Go with Arv because I might be able to use Kirsten on the Cavalier. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't think she's going to be fast enough with a Horse Slayer. And he's got a Lance Reaver anyway. Never mind. Yup. All kinds of bad idea. The Lance Reaver and a Lance, that means both of his weapons are weak to axes, however. The Lance Reaver being more weak because it doubles the weapon triangle effects. Okay, I can do Berserk on the Druid next turn. Status stabs in GBA games, their accuracy is related to the distance from the caster is from the target, so the closer I can get, the higher my chance of success. It's a little awkward, but at least there is a way of using positioning to increase your success and debuff success rate. Yeah, there's not really anything going to happen that turn. No more surprise reinforcements, right? I might even be able to increase my success a little bit more because it's also tied to your magic stat. $66. Maybe I should, since it's not a great hit rate, I may just want to conserve it. I can, however, harass this way. How much res? You have 7 res? I gotta make sure I can rescue him then, because I don't want to draw the bosses just yet. But it would be nice to be able to get rid of him, maybe next turn. Alright, Tim can rescue. You have a throwing weapon, but you do not. You can't reach. You can't reach either. Good. Free damage. May end up doing the same thing with Arv, checking her druid stats and checking her summoner stats. The druid's weapon triangle control may mean a fair amount less in the event that her stats are low overall still. So even if she can use all types of magic, she may not necessarily be able to do much with them, in which case the summoner would be the better option. And she may very well still retain that light magic even as a summoner. Yes, if Betty should be anywhere, he should be here, in the middle. Okay. I mean, I wasn't really in the range of anyone who moved, but I'm just gonna help myself to this. Speedwing's good. Who needs speedwings? I know I have a number of slow people. You're not worth salvaging. Void might be a good option. 14 is kind of on the cusp of being between being alright speed, but not really being fast, whereas 16 speed is reasonably considered fast. Samson might be worth patching a little bit, because 11 speed could be a... Well, actually, I kind of like that he's not one-shotting everything, or doubling everyone, because then it can do stuff like this. So I may leave him. Arv is a good option, might be a good option. Maybe. Kind of have to look at the whole army as a whole, see who I want to give it to. So you can move next turn. Are you gonna mess me up? Probably not too bad. Unless RNG strikes, and sure shot happens, then I might be in some trouble. 23, 6, so 17. I don't think a 1.5, 17 is what, 8 rounded down, 17 and 8. Yeah, that won't kill even if that procs. Actually, is he even in range? Yeah, that's in range. Oh right, I was gonna kill the druid and I forgot. I have enough. I think I should have enough movement to get in and out with Prin to re-equip the killer lance there, just so that she has a stronger weapon in retaliation against the fighter next turn. See if she goes 3 for 3 and critting on counterattack here. Alright, and Anti-Arch can use staves now, so I should give him one. go the opposite of 3 for 3. Well, opposite of what I wanted to happen, but breaking the 3 for 3. Suddenly hero. Man, these reinforcements are scary. They can just materialize out of nowhere. Doesn't matter if it's a carpet or the walls or what. The Rune Sword? Rune Sword is probably the least threatening thing in his arsenal. $13 and 12 is 25. 15 speed, 8. Yeah, I'm not sure. 25, 24 with weapon triangle advantage. 14, 13. At the same time, if I get doubled by it and both of them hit, then he's gonna probably heal off any damage that I do on counterattack. So let me make sure I clear out these guys before I commit to something like finishing off that druid. Okay. Let's minimize my risks here. Attack the one that can't attack back. And attack the one that can't attack back. And I do appear to still have the resources to finish off that druid. Good. Good, needed that speed. She needs to get a lot of speed to catch up. 16 already though. She only has 4 more levels before I have to promote her in order for her to continue growing. Is Bob gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4, 6? Bob's actually gonna get hemmed in if I don't rescue him now. Okay. Could finish you off, rescue staff Bob, and then Samson can just stay rescued for this turn. Yeah, so that hero is gonna come in and cut off Bob before he can get out. Use Tim for what I am gonna rescue here. Tim, let's see, minus 8. Oh yeah, okay. So 12, 16 with 13 defense. Tim actually is very comparable to him and this hero in stats. So if you're suggesting whether or not just use Tim to, because that's a little flighty too. So like Tim has similar stats to this hero, but this hero has way better weapons. So one-on-one, Tim might actually lose to him, is my main primary concern. The best I could hope for is a neutral matchup, sword versus sword, which would be flighty at best. Especially with his low luck. It does look like I probably could have gotten Tim into a choke position, choke this point here. But again, I think the soldier would have had the advantage, or the hero would have given him enough problems to not really be worth it. I mean, I have plenty of uses still on, or I have a use still on the rescue staff. Best to use it while I know I need it than to conserve it and increase my risks unnecessarily. Basically, when this hero gets close enough, I'll have my ranged units kind of pepper him until he gets down low enough that I can finish him off with either Kirsten or Tim. Kirsten probably will have the better hit rates, just because of weapon triangle advantage, and she's got good skill. But yeah, that'll be at least a turn or two from now. So now, I'm gonna keep moving though. Let him come to me. So you don't move is just the bosses and this hero are the only ones that still move. Part of me wishes they had done something a little bit more with this hallway, because it's pretty empty and there isn't really anything going on here. At the same time, though, part of me is kind of glad that they didn't. Am I in range? I'm in range. Gotta not be in range. Not quite ready for that. Want to at least grab this, then we'll see if I can split up the bosses. Have the bottom people deal with Geb, and the top deal with Garen. So he'll be in range next turn, so I have to deal with him. Just barely make it across. Good. You can reach. You can reach. I can go full killer bow here. Just if he crits, it just takes care of the problem for me. So that looks like Sure Shot, though not the one that procs. It's the class skill. Sure Strike, I should say. Interesting that those are still there, because I mean it says so in the flavor text, but there wasn't really any guarantee that it was still implemented. Oof. Right, you still have an axe. Go. Oh, okay. I'll take it. Didn't even get much experience for that. Alright, if I'm luring Geb, he's gonna attack with his rune sword. Which does kind of leave me in the same predicament as dealing with that hero, though he's got significantly less speed. Hero had 15 speed, and Geb only has 9. So Geb won't double larve, which makes her actually a viable bait target now. Don't have any more seals, right? Or don't have anyone who seals anything on this side. Just 2 buffers. Alright. What's in the last chest? Swift Souls. Nice. I generally am a fan of giving my boots to dancers. I don't have any yet, so I will hold on to them for now. So, alright. See, the longbow is going to be great in this situation as well for being able to harass Geb from outside of his rune sword range after I lure him. I gotta make sure I'm ready to lure Baron as well. So I can hit 7 speed, really slow, which is nice. Do unfortunately have to contend with a little bit of critical from his focus skill. This is not likely to be a factor. I'm planning on using anti-arch. He has the second best resistance, but more importantly, he's got the speed debuff, which would actually bring Baron down low enough speed that even Tai could double attack him. Make sure here, 23, 15. Maybe I should use Tai actually. Tai, I'm not used to my Armor Knight having great resistance too. But he's fast enough to avoid being doubled. He's got enough luck to probably counteract focus. And he does have a ranged weapon. He doesn't have the seal skill, but he'll probably deal more damage on counter hits anyway. Oops, you're the one I want. So, alright. We'll do, make a save state here as an anti-RNG measure. Because screw the RNG. But then we'll just kind of layer on some buffs here. +4 speed to 9, so she should actually be able to double attack Geb next turn, or on enemy phase. And then oops. Well, I was gonna say I hadn't accidentally rallied yet this chapter, but that was the first one. I need him on the short spear. So I'm gonna intentionally rally that time. I don't have any other buffs I can give him, right? That's Vantage, that's Desperation, so no. Alright. So Baron should go north, Geb should go south. The two warriors should stay put. Nice. I actually got a better counterattack here than I was expecting. Much better. Arv has been my queen of low percent crits this chapter. I think this is like the third or fourth one. And a perfect level up too. Arv, you're trying to impress me because you're doing a good job. Okay, why did we get a double attack there? Did I miss Adept proc? I didn't see any visual cue. Maybe it's happened and just didn't. That's the only thing I can think of. Also, I'm not sure why he went with Shine, because as I said before, he'd do a lot more damage with Fimbulvetter. I guess 12 weight, 7 con, so 5. Okay, so Fimbulvetter would have gotten him doubled on counterattack, and that would actually have killed him. So I am a little surprised it considered that, if that was what happened, or maybe he just switched on a whim. I don't know. He got all the chests. Let us get some extra kill experience here. Trying not to be too greedy. But I like understanding what happened. When things happen that I don't understand why they happen, I worry that they're going to happen again without me being able to account for them. Can actually use Void and get a kill here. Wonder if with only 3 experience, she's probably not going to level up from it. No one here is really that close to leveling. I didn't really need to rally there, but I did so anyway. Okay, you interestingly have the iron bow equipped by default. How bad do you mess her up? Actually, not bad at all. How about with Flux? Also palatable. Can I afford a longbow shot here? 11? I think that's going to be the only way I'm going to get a kill on him. So, it might be worth doing. So Arv, Kirsten, and Samson gonna gang up on that warrior, get that kill. We'll give it to Kirsten. Do I need Arv? I don't need Arv for this. She can take a break. Defense is good. I wish she had gotten a bit more. Okay. Yikes. That crit rate though. Even with the buff. Oh yeah, 23. Oh yeah, because of focus. That is not worth the risk. That last hit on the boss always plays a critical animation Easter egg, if you want to call it an Easter egg. Good stuff though. Alright. What was that? Coarse, rough, irritating. Oh god, is this the desert chapter? This is the desert chapter. Hey, Mage Knight. Celica. No, Cilicia. Not quite Celica. Oh. She seems cool. A mounted unit with acrobat. Just picture the horse doing it on the trapeze or something. Anyway. Won't say too much, just to give a quick look. It's a desert map with Fog of War. Ran into this in Hector's hard mode in Blazing Sword and normal mode in Binding Blade, and it was a joy in both. And I used that in the most sarcastic sense. So yeah, I agree. Last chapter didn't seem all that sadistic at all. The enemy weaponry was pretty amped, but the overall stats and the fact that only about 2/3 of the enemies actually moved to engage me, and the rest were all stationary, made that a lot easier than it looked at first. It was a bit drawn out. It could have been a little more succinct. The right side, the east path, was significantly longer than the north path. So as the north group kind of finished up what they were doing, and were just kind of stuck twiddling their thumbs for good 5 to 6 turns at least, while the east path just had a lot more ground to cover, just in terms of distance needing to move. They needed to move. So even if they had had less enemies to fight along the way, that probably still would have happened. So I think that the east side could have been abridged a little bit. Maybe instead of having 2 vertical hallways on the right side, make 1, so that you have the choice of going up for the treasure chests or just going straight back west towards wasn't exactly a throne room, but the gold room, I should say. and that would have given you a little more player choice, forced you to split your party again, maybe if you needed to defend your thief on their way to the treasure chests. I think there was a chest key on the east path, so you could have sent the thief up to the 2 treasure chests and then just used the chest key for the swift souls. Yeah. The tie was a fantastic addition to the team. Very well scaled for the perhaps even a little overpowered for the chapter that he joined in. And this is after promotion bonuses, but the fact that these are his promotion bonus, this is his stats after pretty much promoting immediately, is still very impressive. Hopefully he gets Wary Fighter. I don't actually remember off the top of my head what the generals got at level 5 in Awakening. It's been a while since I played that one. Was it Defense Rally? I don't. I know the 15 is Pavis, which will be a nice boon anyway. But yeah, he easily earned his place on my roster going forward. Maybe not necessarily in this chapter, because he'll, I believe, be reduced to 1 or 2 movements on sand. I'm very glad I put some levels into Kirsten, and I might end up promoting her this chapter just to give her enough of an edge to kind of commando out there, because she is my only flyer. Arv also might get a seal before the beginning of this chapter, just to buff her up, because she'll be kind of on her own, because she'll outpace everyone for not having movement penalties. And I am starting to slightly regret making our anti-arch a mage knight, because sage would have free movement in this chapter, whereas a mage knight gets penalties. And I'm also getting a mage knight this chapter as well. So Prin's pretty much been locked into Valkyrie at this point. Whether I use the upcoming mage knight or not is another question. I didn't look at her growths. Actually, don't think I can see her growths as a green unit yet. But next one does look as interesting, if not more so. Bob has to come for his visibility in Fog of War. But yeah. I'm gonna call it a night here. It's 11:44 on the East Coast. Don't want to go too late. I've been going on longer than I really wanted to the last few weeks for a single session at least, even though I've only been doing 1 chapter. So anyway, going forward, looking to maybe promote Void, maybe promote Arv, maybe promote Kirsten next chapter. We'll see where we are. See what we need. Void maybe not this chapter, because she gets a horse and that would actually reduce her movement in the sands. But alright. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and hope to see everyone next week. Good night.